Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Rosina Sharon, and today we're going to do a very simple everyday makeup tutorial. I am doing a live on TikTok as well. So before we do that, kindly subscribe, share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll be reading all of them. Kama kawaida, and if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Enough of that. Let us go straight into the video. With the eyebrows, start by brushing the eyebrows upwards before you start lining the lower side. Now to line, we're going to use the Davis number 3 Davis eye pencil. The shade number is number 3. Where to start lining the lower side of the brow, you're going to follow the corner of the nose, place your first dot there. Where to start carving, mid of the eye, place the dot on the inner side, and then where to stop, you're going to follow the lower lash line in that angle, placing your last dot there. So you're just going to follow those 3 dots when it comes to lining the lower side. Make sure your eye pencil is as sharp as it can get, and your eye pencil should be pointed towards the eye. Don't line it in an angle. Make sure it's pointed towards the eye. As you curve towards the outer corner, curve it in an outwards direction. Okay, now on the upper side, use your spoolie to level the eyebrows. Okay, don't brush them down, just level them. Remember, where your eyebrow is curved on the lower side, place the dot directly above it, so it gives you a guideline on where exactly to start curving the upper side. Okay, now when you're joining the line to where you're going to start curving, make sure it's more of a straight line or a very slight angle, and then curve. Okay, now to fill in, we're going to use the bar soap technique. Take a bar soap, wet it with water, and then rub on it. Okay, rub on it. You're going to use the thick white foam that forms there. Take it with a spoolie and then use it to brush through the eyebrows. Around the inner corner, brush it upwards. As you go towards the outer corner, brush the eyebrows in a way they just fit in between those 2 lines. They don't go above the line on the upper side or below the line on the lower side. And then immediately after, use the other flat side of the brush and press the brows in so they stick onto the skin. Then allow for that soap to dry out completely first before you start filling in. To fill, you're going to start from the outer corner, and you're going to use very gentle strokes. Okay, gentle strokes using very little force, and then you're going to focus mostly on the areas you feel like there is space where your eyebrows are very visible. Leave that area alone. Around the inner corner, you're going to tilt your eye pencil in that angle, okay, sideways, and then you're going to start creating a shadow starting from the lower side. Use very little force while you're doing this. Okay, so it just creates a shadow. Moving on to clean the eyebrows, you're going to use a concealer 2 shades lighter than your skin tone and a flat brush. For me, I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. Now when you're holding the brush, make sure it's seated in this angle. It's seated, don't point it directly towards the eye. And then you're just going to follow the shape of the brow, to clean the brows. Okay, as you go towards the outer corner, clean it in an outwards angle again, don't bring it in. Okay, and then immediately after, drag the product down, and then around the inner corner, you're going to use a foundation instead of a concealer. Remember, we left a bit of space around the inner corner. Use a foundation and make sure that foundation line blends into the concealer line, and again, always drag the product down as you go. And then after that, you can use a small fluffy brush to blend that product in. Okay, blend it in before you start setting the lids for eyeshadow, and to blend, you're just going to tap until it all blends in. Now to set the lids, you can either use a concealer or an eyeshadow base. If you're going to use a concealer, I would recommend you use a mattifying concealer. Again, you're going to use a fluffy brush. Make sure you apply the product on the side of the brush, not on the tip. And to blend, you're going to start from the lower lid. Tap, starting from the lower lid, moving up. So the product is concentrated on the lower lid. As you go up, it just blends into that concealer on the upper lid. Eyeshadow, you're going to start off with this subtle brown from Zikel Cosmetics, and remember to blend in any creases on the lids first before you start the application process. For beginners, inner corner, I mean the side, outer corner, that side, lower lid, upper lid. Okay, and we're going to start off using a very small fluffy round brush, okay, for the first transition shade. Now where to place the first transition shade, we're going to use the 3 dot technique. The first dot is just going to be just where your upper lash line stops. Second dot just below where your eyebrow starts curving on the midpoint of the lid. Third dot just before the inner corner, again midpoint of the lid. Then you're going to start connecting first dot to the second dot. As you go towards the inner corner, you're going to concentrate along the midpoint of the lid as you move towards the inner corner. So starting from the outer corner, going towards the inner corner, as you move towards the inner corner, concentrate mostly on the midpoint of the lid. Then immediately after, tap off the excess product on the same brush and slightly using sweep-like motions, just gently loosen that edge. And then this process here is very optional. You can add a darker shade of brown just along the outer corner alone, and here you just tap. And then now to blend in the first transition, you're going to use this it's almost an orangey, but it's a brown shade, okay? And you can use a bigger brush for this. Place the product on the tip of the brush, okay? And how you hold this brush is very important, okay? It's only that tip that is going to touch, okay, your face, okay? And then you're going to start blending from the outer corner using circular motions, very little force, from the outer corner going towards the inner corner, okay? And as you take the product, make sure you tap off the excess so you don't use too much product. As you go towards the inner corner, blend it downwards. Next, using the same brush you used to set the lids, just blend in any creases on the crease region here, okay? Don't add any product to it. And then for beginners, I would recommend you use a finishing powder, okay? If you don't know how to use eyeshadow, just use a finishing powder that is 2 shades lighter than your skin tone, the one you're going to use to set in your highlights later, okay? I'm just going to place that around the crease region using a fluffy brush. Remember, we're only using matte shades here. We're not using any shimmery shades so far, okay? Just matte shades. Use a fluffy brush for this. It's going to blend in well. Then after, I'm going to add a bit of a shimmery pigment. So for that, you're going to start with the NYX glitter glue, any glitter glue of your choice. And to apply the glitter glue, use a flat brush. And then to apply the shimmery pigment, use a fluffy brush, okay? And the shimmery pigment is only going to be placed around the midpoint, and you're tapping it in gently, okay? And then after that, we are going to mimic a wing, but not really a wing. It's a different technique, okay? Start off with the line, and then you're going to start blending from the lower side. It's going to be longer on the lower side. As you go towards the upper side, make it shorter. And then immediately after, use a small brush with a deep brown matte shade and just blend that in. And then after that, you can use a liner and just apply one tiny line just around the upper lash line, a very tiny line, okay? Then you can use mascara first before you apply your falsies. Then here I'm just going to apply my falsies, you know, something mid, not too dramatic, not too subtle for me, but you can go for any. If you don't like lashes, just stick with the mascara alone. So moving on to the face, skin prep is very important. I already moisturized here. I'm going to show the products on the description box. So next, I'm just going to apply a very moisturizing primer. This is from What's Up Beauty. This is actually the first time I'm using this product. So yeah, I'm going to apply that all over the face. And guys, for context purposes, my skin type is dry skin. That is why I'm applying a hydrating primer, and I'm just going to apply that all over, massage it into the skin, allow for it to set first before I move on to foundation. For foundation today, I'm using the Maybelline Superstay in the shade 356, and I'm going to use the beauty blender. Make sure it's damp, and then squeeze out the excess water completely out of the beauty blender, okay? And then take some of the product, place it on the beauty blender, and then start blending around the cheek area, spread it out as you move down, okay? And then you can blend that around the lip region as well. And guys, here for technique, tap gently. Don't use too much force. Tap, and little product goes a long way, okay? Don't use too much product. Then you can apply that along the lip region as well. Again, around the inner corner, and I mean the under eye, sorry, around the under eye, we're not applying any foundation, okay? Foundation is not to be applied along the under eyes. We're going to do the same thing with this other side of the cheek, and then the product remaining on the beauty blender, that is what you're going to use to blend in towards the neck. Now for the forehead, start in between the brows, okay? And then as you move up, tilt the beauty blender in sideways like this, okay? So you're going to start blending just above the brows, left to right, right to left. So the product spreads out evenly, just above the brow, left to right, right to left as you move up, okay? So the product spreads out evenly and you don't end up using too much product along the hairline, okay? You don't want to use too much product along the hairline. As you can see, we want it to be very blended. And then the product remaining on the beauty blender, that is what you're going to use along the sides there. Remember, the side is that side is very tiny, okay? The space is tiny. Don't use too much product. Moving on, for highlighting, you're going to use a concealer 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. For me, I'm going to use the same concealer I used to clean the brush. That is Illegal Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. So you're going to apply the product starting with the under eye, around the inner corner, and some along the outer corner as well. as shown. Okay, now along the bridge of the nose, 3 dots are enough. And then as you go towards the forehead, make sure you blend in between the brows. Okay, and then to blend, especially for beginners, I would recommend you start off with the bridge of the nose and the forehead before you come back. Your under eye should be the last point for you to blend in. I'm going to tell you guys why in a second. Now to blend in again along the forehead, start in between the brows. As you move up, tilt your beauty blender sideways and then blend it left to right, right to left. And then now after that, you can come back in and blend in the under eye. Okay, starting from the inner corner going towards the outer corner. Now I say the under eye should be blended in last because you need to set the under eyes immediately after. You need to set that concealer immediately after blending, so you avoid having creases on your under eye. Okay, you avoid creasing under your eyes. Blend it in and then immediately after set it in. Okay, that is how you tackle the under eye creasing. Now here I'm just blending, tap 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 again. Sorry, we are not using too much force, very little force, and take your time to blend. Now to set, you're going to start off with a compact finishing powder, a shade that matches the shade of the concealer, so that would be 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. If you're using a beauty blender, I would recommend you use the side that has product, not the clean side. Okay, you can use a powder puff for the same thing. Again, take some of that product. Okay, just press on the product and then use that to press it in to set. So to set, you're just going to use that to press it in, starting with the under eyes. Always start with the under eyes first before you move on to the rest of the areas where you highlighted using a concealer. So that would include bridge of the nose. Make sure you set along the corner of the nose as well, and your forehead. Moving on to contour. If you don't know where exactly to place your cheek contour, you can use this 2 fingers, the thumb below your nose and then the index finger just above your ear. Okay, and your contour should not be below where your pupil ends. Okay, it should stop there. So technique, sweep like motion moving upwards. Okay, sweep it in an upwards angle and use very little force when you're doing this. Okay, and very little product as well. Then the product remaining on that brush is what you're going to use to contour your forehead as well. And for the forehead, you blend it into the hairline. Okay, into the hairline. Use as little product as you can. And then for the nose contour, only use a product that is 1 shade darker than your skin tone. You're starting off with a flat brush where your eyeshadow stops. In a 45-degree angle, bring it in on both sides first. Okay, that is going to give you a guideline on where exactly to place your contour lines. And to place the contour lines, tap tap tap. Again, you're starting off with a flat brush and make sure you cover the line on the lower side as well, so you don't leave the nose open all the way to all the way down. And then now to blend that in, you're going to use a clean fluffy brush so you avoid having harsh contour lines on your nose. Okay, so on the upper side, blend it into the eyeshadow. As you move down, tap it in. Okay, tap tap tap. We don't want to spread that contour shade all the way down here. We want it to remain here where your product placement is very important. It should remain there, so it just leaves your nose looking contoured all through. Okay, so tap it in and remember to blend down there as well. Then after that, I'm just going to apply a cream eyeliner on the waterline, just on the waterline alone. Don't bring it towards the under eye. Okay, and then for the lips, I did a peach nude shade. Started off with the brown lip liner first, and then I'm going to add a bit of the same shade of concealer I was using and then blend it in, so it gives me that beautiful nude shade that fits my tone. And then after, I'm just going to use a clear lip gloss on top of that, just to add that gloss effect, because anytime I do a nude, it has to be a gloss. I'm in love with glosses, I'm sorry. Then after that, I'm going to use the Milani Make It Last Original Setting Spray. Just spray all over, and I use a very generous amount. Okay, don't be stingy with the setting spray. And then after, this is optional for my beginners, you don't need to highlight. I'm just going to highlight a bit, and then that would be it from me today, guys. I really hope you have learned something from this video. Hope this video was very educative for you, and let me know if you need any more tutorials, which suggestions you would want me to do next. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I shall see you next time. Please remember to subscribe. Bye.